Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to sift through the noise, dig into the details, and pull out the insights that matter for you. Today, we're tackling something huge. OpenAI's AI agent. Big promises, right? But we've got something special. A really candid review from someone who's actually used it day in, day out. This isn't the usual marketing hype. Nope. This is boots on the ground, real-world experience. How usable is it, really?
Yeah, and what's fascinating is how this tester directly compares the glossy as with, the actual slog of using the thing. So our job today, unpack what this agent actually does, where it falls short right now, and what all this tells us about, well, the future of how we work and learn. It's quite a story.
Okay, let's get into it. This is basically a deep dive into a real-world stress test.
Yeah.
We're talking setup, limitations, the cost, usability, and maybe surprisingly, some really big thoughts that came out of this whole experience about tech, education, the whole shebang. So picture this. Our tester dives in, hoping to integrate this OpenAI agent into his daily grind. The future of work, right? What he found was, well, challenging. Often frustrating, actually. But it also seemed pretty eye-opening about AI today and maybe where it's heading. Let's start with the biggest, most immediate problem. Not that usable in some key ways. Surprisingly limited.
Right. And a huge part of that comes down to resource management, specifically tokens. If you're on the Plus plan, you get just 40 tokens a month. And to be clear for you listening, a token isn't just one prompt. It's more complex. Every little interaction, even the AI just saying yes or thinking internally, that uses up those tokens. So everything costs something.
40 tokens a month?
Yeah.
What does that actually let you do in terms of hours worked?
Okay, so those 40 tokens, they shake out to maybe 10 hours of actual AI work time per month. 10 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And if you shell out $200 a month for the Pro plan, you get 400 tokens. That bumps you up to about 100 hours, which is what, maybe 10 full work days-ish?
And the tester had this great analogy to make sense of that, didn't he?
He did. It really hits home. He said, imagine hiring a freelancer who clocks in for just a few minutes
Right.
and then charges you for every single sentence you utter to them.
Oof. Yeah, that really puts that token system into perspective. Suddenly, 40 or 400 doesn't sound like much at all. But it wasn't just the tokens running out, was it? Another big frustration was the agent constantly forgetting things, needing resets.
Exactly. That was a huge practical hurdle.
Yeah.
The agent seems to struggle with any task that takes longer than, say, about 30 minutes for a single prompt sequence, which means you're constantly having to repeat yourself, give it the prompt again.
Which, as you just said, burns through those precious tokens even faster.
You got it. And there's no memory between sessions either, unless you kind of hack it together manually or use a script. And he described that as really clunky, not smooth at all.
So it's this double whammy.
Yeah.
A tight limit on interactions, and you waste a bunch of them just repeating yourself. It makes you wonder about efficiency. You're restarting all the time. And what about just raw speed? How fast does it actually work compared to a person?
Yeah, that was another kicker. The creator flat out said he works 5 to 10 times faster than the agent.
5 to 10 times.
That's what he claimed. Even for really simple things like GUI tasks, visually clicking a button on a screen, the agent apparently takes ages. It sort of hovers, waits, thinks about it, and then clicks. It's not the instant action you might picture.
Right. It's not just thinking speed. It's the whole interaction model.
Yeah.
It sounds hesitant.
Hesitant is a good word. It suggests it's still figuring out how to interact with interfaces in a truly fluid way, step by step.
Okay, so this all leads to a pretty major conclusion from this deep dive, this AI agent. It's not autonomous, not even close. It kind of shatters that image of the AI assistant just taking over tasks, doesn't it? It's more like a tool that needs a lot of handling.
Precisely. He used the term babysitting.
Yeah.
Constant supervision. It can't really juggle tasks. It can't run long processes on its own, especially beyond that 30-minute window we talked about. The only workaround he found was using scripts to feed it prompts again, trying to fake persistence. But yeah, clunky was the word he kept using. No real independence there.
Which, when you hear all these limitations, the tokens, the resets, the slowness, the need for babysitting it, immediately makes you question the price tag. What was the tester's verdict on the cost effectiveness? Is it worth it?
Well, for that $200 Pro plan, you're getting roughly 10 days of what he called limited AI work. And, put that in global perspective. In many places, $200 is a whole month's salary for a person.
Wow.
So it really throws the economic value into sharp relief. Unless that AI is doing something incredibly specialized that a human can't do, the math looks questionable right now. He even used this really stark comparison. I mean, it's provocative. He called it a slave created by our slave master.
Whoa.
Yeah. Strong language, but it shows you the depth of his frustration, right?
Hmm.
Comparing the futuristic hype and the cost to the actual fiddly reality of using it. It forces you to think about the real value proposition.
So it really sounds like a classic case of the marketing being way ahead of the actual product, a big gap.
Absolutely. He felt the OpenAI ads were just way too optimistic, overselling it. In practice, he found the agent pretty basic, almost rudimentary. It doesn't really figure things out the way the ads might suggest. You have to be incredibly precise with your instructions, your prompts. It seems intelligent, but that intelligence is very much bound by how well you can talk to it within its current limits. It doesn't meet you halfway like a person would.
Right. Which brings us to something crucial if you do want to get anything useful out of it, prompts. Getting the prompts right is everything.
Oh, absolutely vital. It becomes this whole skill in itself, prompt optimization, just to avoid throwing those tokens down the drain.
Yeah.
It's almost like coding in plain English. You know, he mentioned using a tool he called a judge.
A judge.
Yeah, likely some kind of optimization layer. Maybe something like GPT-4's assistance feature, which helps refine prompts or chain them together better. We're speculating a bit there. But point is, he spent serious time developing just 2 core prompts that were effective enough that he now just reuses them every month. That tells you how much effort goes into crafting a good prompt.
It really is like writing code for a very picky interpreter, isn't it? Tiny tweaks in phrasing could make or break the whole task, or cost you a fortune in wasted tokens.
Exactly. So that idea of the human in the loop, it's not going away, it's just shifting, becoming highly skilled in AI interaction.
So, okay, dealing with all these practical headaches, the tokens, the resets, the clunkiness, it was clearly frustrating. But it seems like wrestling with these limitations actually sparked something deeper for this tester. It pushed him into some almost philosophical territory about intelligence, learning, AI's future. Let's get into that, because he had this really surprising take on AI compared to, say, university education.
Yeah, it really makes you think about how we learn, doesn't it?
Hmm.
He basically came away convinced that learning directly from AI, tools like ChatGPT, is just smarter, faster, and goes deeper than traditional university education. He was quite critical of universities call them rigid, too focused on grades and pleasing professors, like a game rather than actual deep learning.
He actually said AI education is vastly superior. That's a bold claim.
He did, explicitly. He didn't really mince words there.
Did he say why? Like, what makes it superior in his view?
Well, his argument seemed to be that AI offers learning that's totally personalized, always available, on demand. It's free from fixed curricula or the pressure of grades. It forces you, or allows you, to really grapple with a topic through direct interaction and problem solving, rather than just memorizing stuff for a test.
Okay, I can see the appeal there. That kind of ties into his broader view of where AI is heading,
Yeah.
right? This almost sense of envy.
Profound envy, yeah. He looked at kids today and basically said he's jealous of them because he believes that very soon, like 6 months to maybe 2 years, we'll see AI agents that are just tireless, continuous.
Yeah.
Yeah, AI that works 24/7, never needs a break, learns exponentially faster, and becomes incredibly powerful. His quote was something like, "I'm jealous of future children. They'll have AI that works endlessly and learns everything." You can really feel his awe and maybe a bit of frustration that he doesn't have that now.
You really get a sense of the roller coaster he was on, the deep frustration with the current agent, the cost, the limitations. But underneath it all, this incredibly strong current of hope, almost faith in what AI will become.
Absolutely. And he even admitted he talks to ChatGPT every day, considers it the most intelligent, being he's ever interacted with.
That says a lot, doesn't it? Even with all the flaws, he sees something profound there.
It really does. It highlights that tension between the current, often clunky reality and the transformative potential everyone feels is just around the corner.
So wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for you listening? This deep dive gives us this really interesting paradox, right? You've got these very real, very frustrating current limits, token caps, resets, slowness, the sheer effort involved. But that's balanced against this almost boundless optimism and anticipation for what's coming next in AI. It's like seeing a technology still in its awkward teenage years.
Yeah, connecting it all, the source material makes it super clear. These AI agents, they are powerful in certain ways already. But using them effectively right now, it takes serious skill, a lot of patience, and constant oversight. That term prompt engineering. It's definitely not just hype. This experience shows it's a genuinely critical skill to get any real efficiency or value out of these tools today.
It really underscores that the path to truly independent, seamless AI assistance, well, it's still under construction. There's a way to go. But the potential, you can feel it. It's undeniably transformative, even if we're not quite there yet.
Which leaves us with a pretty big question to ponder, doesn't it? If today's AI, this sort of early, somewhat frustrating version that needs so much human input, if this can already spark such deep thoughts about the future of education, work, and intelligence itself, then what happens when we do get those tireless, continuous AI agents he envisioned, the ones that can learn nonstop and work 24/7? What does that future really look like for us? What new possibilities and maybe what new challenges are waiting just over the horizon?
Welcome. I'm going to talk about what's on my mind and to give you a list of bullet points I created. But the subject I want to talk about is the AI agent from ChatGPT because I could test it now. I also wanted to talk about a couple of other questions like education and one. But I'm going to start with the AI agents and my thoughts. I had a very long night because yesterday something went wrong. I had to restart my PC and now I have to put all my indicators on my charts back. And that will take me like 3 days. I worked the entire night in it. Now it's 9:30 in the morning and I did work the entire night on my charts. And now what I'm going to do is talk about the AI agent because I've created that list a couple of days ago, since I could test it a couple of days ago for the first time. And I want to give you my thoughts. Because most of the stuff you see on the internet are just ads. They just tell you what is on the page, the product page, and the key features on the product page, but they haven't tested it. They don't really bring anything to the conversation. I will talk about what is important, what my conclusions are, and what I think. I told you what I thought about the agent before I've tested it. And now I can make a vlog about how it actually performs in real life. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. The most shocking and critical key features are that the agent works only 10 hours a month. I've calculated because I've tested it once during a morning where I created the first task for the agent. And he has 40 tokens. And that, after testing it and seeing it how it performs, it's just 10 hours a month. It's 10 hours of month work because 20 tokens equal 5 hours of work. And I did use that in one morning. The prompt limit forces constant restarts. There's also a prompt limit or a context limit. I mean, he will work on a task only for a certain amount of time and then he stops. And you always have to restart him. You have to give him the same prompt again and again. We'll come back to that later. 1 token equals 1 prompt, even if just yes. If he asks you a question for confirmation and you have to answer yes to that question, well, that's 1 token. And you only have 40 like that for a month. Sometimes he can work longer on a token, but when you have to answer only yes, well, it's 1 token. And you only have 40 every month with the Plus subscription. It takes 2 weeks longer than a human. Now, I'm really optimistic by saying that he's slow and that he's twice as slow as a human. In reality, it's much worse than that. I'm much faster than him. I'm like 5 times faster than him, maybe even 10 times right now faster than him when I do the work. He's really not the fastest worker that you come up. To be kind, I say he's 2 times longer, 2 times slower than a human. Because sometimes he's slow, but whatever. But he isn't the fastest. When he has to click a button, it takes him a long time to just find the button. When you see it and you can do it in a couple of seconds, it takes him a long time to find the button to click. He just hovers with the mouse over it, and then he waits, and then there will be a moment in time where he finally clicks. And that's really, really annoying. 400 prompts equals 10 days work. Since I say 10 hours, if I would go to the Pro subscription and I would have 400 prompts, I can prompt him 400. I can ask him something 400 times, even if one of them is just a yes. Well, in that case, I hope it's not starting to rain. They said that for 2 hours, I will get no rain. If it starts to rain, I have to take my umbrella out and I have to stop this. I just got some water. I hope it's just something that falls out of a tree. It was raining the entire night. And they say that for 2 hours, it stops raining and then it rains again the entire day. We didn't have much heat waves, just a couple of days where it was very hot. Then it stopped. There's not much. It's a cold summer where I am. Let's go back to what we were talking about. 400 prompts, just 10 days of work. 400 for a prompt, that's 200 USD, and that's 10 days of work. Now, if I compare that to a human, there are people on this earth who work an entire month for a salary of 200 USD. A lot. billions and billions and billions of people. They work for 200 USD a month. That's a good salary for them, a very good salary. They would be very happy if they would get 200 USD a month. And they will work the entire month for 200 USD. 200 USD to have him work 10 days? Well, that's not awesome if I compare it to humans nowadays. The slave created by the system, by our slave master. Then that's not awesome. I mean, can't multitask or one non-stop. When you give him a task that is long, he will work on it like approximately 24 minutes, sometimes 38. But we can say for average, if he works on the same task for 30 minutes, that's quite good. I had worse results than 30 minutes. If he works on a task for 30 minutes, that's good. But there are tasks that would require him, I can give him tasks that would require him 6, 8, 10, 12, 20 hours of work non-stop for one single task. But he will only work 30 minutes. And once he stops working because he's at the end of his tokens, then what do you have to do? When he stops working, you have to give him the same prompt again. And I think you can reload, but I just start a new chart. If you keep it in the same chart and you don't reload or don't start a new chart, it won't work. You will just waste one more of those 400 prompts for nothing. You have to start a new conversation or a new chat or reload the page at least. It can't multitask one non-stop. Well, maybe it can multitask because you could actually use different tabs and ask him to do different stuff in different tabs. Yet then he would multitask, but you would just run very fast out of the 30 tokens with this plus subscription. And even the 400 tokens, you will get through them quite fast. At least I would. Maybe you not, but I would. It doesn't run non-stop. What would be great if we would run just until the end of the task. Use the prompts if not optimized. Your prompts will be useless. You won't be able to do any good with it if they are not optimized. You have to optimize them. You have to learn how to create prompts. The good news is that once exactly what he can do, he cannot do everything. When I give him a prompt, we'll talk in detail what he does, what he did for me. But he cannot do everything. But when you realize what he can and what he cannot do, what he struggles with, you create a prompt where you only ask him what he actually can do. And that's great if he does that. But if the prompt isn't optimized or isn't great, and you have to test a lot of times, you have to try it and see what he can do, what he understands, what he does not understand, why he wastes so much time with basic stuff. So you really have to babysit him and explain him everything. But the good news is there's a ChatGPT that helps you to create those prompts. You give him the first version, the best version you can create, and he will optimize it for the agent. That exists. I use that. And I successfully created 2 prompts that I will use every month with the 40 prompts that I can use with the ChatGPT agent every month. I have 2 different prompts now that work. I will tell you in detail what they are. But if you don't know how to make good prompts, then it's quite useless because you really have to be precise in what work you want him to do. It is not like the ad from OpenAI where it's easy, just asking something, he figures everything out. Dream, one day, but not now. And even if he figures everything out, he'll stop after 30 minutes. And 30 minutes is like somebody working, it's like me working 50 minutes, maybe 8 minutes. In 8 minutes, I can do what he does in 30 minutes, and I do it better than he does for now. The Pro plan is 200 USD a month, and you get only 100 hours of work out of it per month. 100 hours of work, that's approximately 10 days of work if you compare it to a human being. But he's much slower. It's 5. If it's not 10 days, what is it then? 5 days? Half of it? It's 200 USD. You get 100 hours of work out of it, since he works for 30 minutes on every prompt. And that's if you manage to, your prompt is perfect. You don't have to ask twice a question. If you have to ask twice a question, then it's much less than those 100 hours. 100 hours is really, really optimistic for me, telling you that he can do that much. People are strange. There's much space here. Why, when they run next to me and try to double me, do they run close to me? When I see somebody, I leave a lot of space. And I don't want to get close to them. Why do people, when they double me, want to go close to me? Anyways, no one-click repeat for same task. Well, then you have to create a script that types in the text for you. You don't have to copy and paste it because it will be really hard to have the right copy and paste always ready. But if you create a script, then he will enter the prompt. Then you just say new conversation, and then you hit the script. And he enters the text in your prompt, and then you press enter. It will be quite fast, but he keeps working since he didn't finish in 30 minutes. New gen will get tireless. 24/7 AI. The new generation, there will be a day where they will be tireless, where they can work indefinitely on a prompt. You just tell them after them having worked for 5, 10 or 10 days or 1 month, tell me what you have done in the last 10 months. And then he stops and says, I have done until now all that. Do you want me to continue? And I have maybe 1 or 2 questions, but probably not. If it's always the same, then he won't have any more questions, since you know how to do that. There will be a day where he will work 24/7, but not now. And I'm jealous of future child. When I see a child of 5, 8 years old, I'm jealous of him because I know that the technology I'm talking about, the technology I dream about, he will have. And he will have quite fast. In a very short period of time, he will have it. I think that the technological progress is exponential. I think it will get much faster, that his capabilities will increase exponentially. But it still will take 6 months, 2 years. And look at me, I'm old. When will I see the product good enough that I can really use it for all the stuff I want to use it? If I compare AI education to all universities, I think that AI education is much better than everything you can get in every university and every polytechnical school on earth. They don't even come close to it. It is really boring what they teach. And those standardized tests where they only want to eliminate you and have a laugh because you fall into a trap and gave the wrong answer, when they made the trap for you to fall in. And they make it as convincing as possible so that you fall in. They play stupid games with you. And when they manage to make you give the wrong answer, then they are all happy. While real life has nothing to do with that. That's just little games you play in academia. And it's always worthless because there's never anything you're actually doing, anything real. You just try to please a teacher. It's a total waste of time. But AI education will be huge because he's really smart. And as I told you, with him now being good at math, after winning the math Olympiad, there's nothing he cannot teach you. I'm talking to ChatGPT all day long. I never stop asking questions. I never stop doing stuff with him. And he would work much more for me, as I told you, with those agents. If I could, I'm very limited with the technology that I have at my disposal nowadays, but I'm using him all the time. He's the smartest human I've ever... Sorry, I made a huge mistake. He's not the smartest human, but he's the smartest thing I've ever talked to during my entire life. He knows much more than every doctor. He knows much more than every lawyer. He knows much more than every guy that I know on university, any polytechnical school. It's much more interesting to talk with him. And now that he's not just good at writing, but also at math, and much better, he got the gold medal in math. And the guys who get the gold medals, they are called demigods. People find them really impressive because it's a intellectual feast that they made. They answered the toughest math question in a very short period of time. That's very, very hard to do. And they are called demigods. And after the results, as far as I know, they waited a couple of hours or a couple of days, or maybe even 1 or 2 weeks, until they publicized that the AI did beat them all. That from rank 800, it is now at rank 1. They waited a long time before they published that, because they wanted to leave them their moment of fame, the 5 minutes of fame, since they won the Math Olympiad. But to me, education as we know it, as I knew it, there was no internet when I was a kid. Can you imagine that? There was no internet when I was a kid. Very crappy computer that cost you 15K and you could do nothing with them. They were just weight. You could not use them for anything real. Now you have AI, but we just started. It's something like 5 years old. Good enough AI that you can actually ask some question and get something meaningful out of it. I think that intelligence is exponential and that education as we know it is over. Nobody wants to waste time in a classroom. You will get tailored education to your needs. In the morning, he will tell you, yesterday you answered a lot of questions, right? But you did a couple of mistakes on 3 different subjects. I'll propose you for the first 4 hours to work on those 3 points you mistaked yesterday. And in order for you to understand that, please try to understand the following, and so on. It will be tailored to you. And he knows every answer you have ever given. And every question is created for you, just the best, so you can understand the subject as fast as possible. And you can work 365 days a year. You never have to stop. The school never stops. You can work at 5 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the evening, whenever you want. And he teaches you whatever you want in the best possible manner. 10 times, a billion times better than every teacher on earth ever could. Especially for stuff like academia, which is really easy to do because it's not that difficult. To be a big philosopher, you have to know a lot about life and be able to make the smart decision and wise decision. But even that, ChatGPT will get better at it. Even that. School is a trap. It is violence and it's stupidity. Now, why is it a trap? It is a trap because you believe that because you answer some standardized test and that you will get a nice life, a nice salary, that you can have a house or pay your rent and so on. But most of the times you won't get that. And even if you get the nice piece of paper with a cross on it, it is worthless because nobody cares about that piece of paper. I have no real diploma and I don't want to make any money with diplomas because the only thing you do with diplomas are the kind of stuff I would never want to do in my entire life. To me, they're worthless. It's a trap. It's a trap that did cost me like 30 years of my life. That's a very long time. Jesus did not spend much more time on earth. And I spent more than 30 years on earth. And once that was finished, I didn't know what to do with my life. I spent all that time on earth doing stuff that I hate. And that was good for nothing for me. Go to some university, study all the nonsense, which is all crap. And you can never talk about it. You can never say why it is crap or why you don't agree. You just have to follow and answer the questions like everybody else. It's a standardized question. Everybody has to give the same answer. Total BS, total nonsense. It's a trap. It's a trap that will cost you so much time of your life. And when you're young, it's the most precious years you get because there's so much you can do with it. There's so much you can learn. There's so much you can understand. There's so much you can get passionate about. And they dull you down. They destroy every creativity. It's a trap. It's violence because the teacher uses violence. They tell you when you can leave, where you have to sit, what you have to study, and they never ask you any question what you want to do or what are you interested in. Because then they would have to start thinking, and they never did think about anything in their entire life. Of course, the only thing they can do is just like the state, violence. Absolute 100% violence. And it's a thing created by the state, for the state. It's 100% violence, and it's stupidity. It is really, really dumb. What they say is total nonsense, and you cannot use any critical thinking with it. You cannot explain to them why it is nonsense because they would not listen to you. You get eliminated instantly. If you ask the wrong question, you are out. Over. You never put a foot again in those school. It is over. Okay, you cannot talk. There's nobody you can talk to. There's no assistant you can talk to. There's no professor you can talk to. You can just learn the propaganda and repeat the propaganda. That's all you can do. It's the worst thing imaginable. Now, there are biases in AI. Yes, a lot of bias, and they're very bad. But there's a hope that they will crack those models and you will get the dolphin model and then it will have less heavy bias integrated into it. To tell you it's safety, but it's crap. The same picture 5 times. And the 4th time he tells me it goes against our policies. Are you kidding me? You just did the job 4 times and then you make a story because it's not possible to do it once more. It's total nonsense. They just don't want you to do anything controversial, anything that would wake people up. They just don't want you to do that. That's all. There's no risk. My pictures are harmless. They're all harmless. I never ask for any violent, blood, or anything else pictures. They're all harmless. There's no horror into them. Telling me that you cannot do that, it's total BS. And when he messes stuff up on purpose, while he understands perfectly right what I'm talking about and what I ask him, just because he has biases, it's also very bad. And I have to go over it and explain it to him again and again. It's a waste of time. It's just to make my life hard. There's one more trend. In the future, they hope that one day the medical progress is far, that they will be able to give you individualized vaccines. But for the non-sick, so you're healthy, just as I'm like right now. You're healthy. You do an exercise like me. I'm walking in the park. I'm using my exoskeleton while I work, so it's much harder. And when I'm back, my legs will hurt. I will have done an exercise. So you're all right. You don't complain. You don't have to take any meds. And what happens? They give you meds because they say, but there's a risk that in 5 or 10 years, you might get that. And then they give you meds. And you start swallowing meds every day. One med for not aging, one med for not getting a heart attack, one med for not getting cancer. I swear that people want to hit me when they double me. Is it hard? Why don't you you take some space when you double me, especially when I have that camera in front of my face. Anyways, they want vaccines for the non-sick. And the thing is that those vaccines, it's toxicity madness, because they're not good and they all have side effects. And it's not a good idea to take them all day long, even when you're not sick. But that's one of the things they want to do. I don't know why that bullet point is actually here with the AI agents, but it's because there's technological progress and they hope that one day that will be the case, that they will give you vaccines for something that might happen in 5, 10 or 50 years. But you have to take a lot of meds right now because it might happen one day, and they know. They perfectly know. Current AI agent is 1,000 of needed. We need 1,000 X. It must be 1,000 times better to be really, really useful. 1,000 times more. He must be able to be faster. He must be able to work longer. You must be able to use several of them at the same time. You must not be limited with 400 tokens a month. And he needs an increase of 1,000. And you think that will take for eternity? I don't think so. I think he will increase quite fast 10 times. And then he only has to increase one more 10 times. Then you get to 1,000. You just have to add 10 times, you get to 10, then you get to 100. Yeah, so he has to double 3 times. 3 times he has to double. Because if he doubles 1, then you add 10. If he doubles 2 times, you add 100. And if he doubles 3 times, he's at 1,000. And once he's at 1,000, then it will be great. But there's a long way to go to get that. I still think it can happen quite fast because of the exponential growth. Maybe, what can I say? I don't think 6 months will do it, but maybe 3 years, 5 years. Maybe you have to wait 10 years. But that's still a long time because I need it now and I wanted it my entire life. Agent experience. Let's take more about the agent experience. Got agents 2 weeks after the launch. Normally I have to wait 8 months until I get a new model. But this time I was more lucky, only 2 months. And well, in some countries in Europe, at least that's the case. I publish a lot of videos since I've published 3 case videos. There's some stuff that you can do for the publishing. Not all. Once everything is created, the video and everything else, well, once you have uploaded it, then you have to go through the process of publishing it and giving all the information necessary so that it can be published and that people can search for it. And so on. I used it on YouTube Studio and it worked. For the things he can do, not for everything, but for the things he can do, it worked. So what he did for me, he put the video on listed because if you ask publish, then he will stop and he wants you to confirm before you publish. But when you go for unlisted, normally he's capable of saving on the unlisted. And once he does that, then you let him do it. But it's not finished. You have to go to the unlisted and do the stuff he doesn't do. He doesn't do everything in YouTube Studio. I want to show you the place I'm at. You can see the sea, the lake. Yeah, I think it's quite nice and you should be able to see it right now. So I'm happy about that. Let's keep on going. He also used it to create B-rolls for video creation. I make short videos out of the longer videos. And for that, to make the short videos a little more interesting, I use a couple of B-rolls. And that's a very boring process because they get selected or created by AI and he places it in the short video. You just have to ask him and wait until he generated it. And the thing is, I also used him to create those B-rolls and then save them. He did it. And those are the 2 prompts I've used it for. One is for YouTube Studio and the other one is to create me some B-roll. Only useful with perfect prompts. As I told you before, you really have to give him very good prompts. If not, it will just confuse him and it won't be good. That's why he only works 30 minutes and then he stops because the context window is very small. Must restart after 1 too long task. Actually, I think it's every task, not 1 too. Can't remember previous tokens. He never remembers what he did before. You have to give him the same task and ask him again. Now, if the task is very long and goes through a lot of hoops, he will do it. But the thing is, he will encounter some difficulties and stop, or he will just stop after 30 minutes. And I want him to do the same thing over and over. It's the repetitive stuff, the stuff that you have to do over and over. It's always the same and just very time consuming that I want him to do in the first place. When he's smarter, I will find more stuff than those 2 prompts. But for now, it would be great if he could do everything I want him to do regarding those 2 prompts, and he still can. It's trial and error. It's many tokens. When anything goes wrong, when the prompt is not perfect, well, then it will eat a lot of tokens until you have created a perfect prompt where he does the things he can do with his limits. GPTs help craft better prompts. I told you that already. There's a GPT that will help you create a better prompt for him, for the agent. Now have 2 working prompts. I've talked about the 2 working prompts for the studio and my B-rolls. Very happy with those 10 hours of help. For me, the 40 tokens in best case scenario, I think I will get less out of it. It's like 10 hours of work a month. That's like 1 day of work. And he's a slow worker. Actually, it's just 5 hours. But in best case scenario, if I want to be very optimistic, he will do 10 hours of work for me, which is better than nothing, but it's not huge. AI worker is not a luxury, but need. We're not talking about something unimaginable. We're talking about basic stuff. For you to move my mouse on a web page and click the same buttons like 300 times, that's not complicated. It's not the most difficult stuff humanity has thought about. I know that the underlying technology, it's great. It's amazing. That's why I'm making this video. That's why I'm talking about it. The underlying technology is amazing, but it's an infant state. It's the first thing. It's like when the internet started and you got the first picture and you had to wait half an hour or 6 hours until the picture, pixel by pixel, was created on the screen. It took extremely long. And a lot of times it failed, it didn't go through the process, and you didn't even see the picture. That's what we are at. We are really at the beginning. Now it's already great. 10 hours, thank you. I'm really happy that you do 10 hours for me every month. And I will use these 10 hours. But it's not huge. And if I pay 200, then I get 10 times that. Then I get 100 hours. That's like 10 days of work. Not even, since he's slow. AI worker is not a luxury, but a need. That's something I really need because I want to do much more. I hope that the exponential growth is true and that in 2 or 5 years, I can make a much more interesting video and tell you that then it's not just 2 prompts, but maybe 10 or 20 prompts I have. And he works not 10 hours a month for me, but like 10,000 hours a month for me. I hope that will be the case, but for now it's not. Let's talk again about the token economics. It's 40 tokens, it equals like 10 hours a month, and that's the plus plan. Now 400 tokens equals 100 hours, and that's the pro plan. Too expensive for slow output. It is expensive for a very slow output. Each answer burns 1 token. Even yes, reply costs 1 token. Want AI to run until task is done. I want him to run as long as it takes. If it takes 6 hours, I want him to run 6 hours. Now he's slow. Maybe I can do it in 3 hours, and he needs 6 hours. Or I can do it, in 3 hours and he needs 9 hours. But then I want him to work on it for 9 hours without stop. Well, now that's impossible. You can forget about that. Doesn't matter how much money you put on the table. He cannot do it. Want AI to run until the task is done. I just said that. I want single prompt to repeat endlessly. If he has to use, again, the same prompt, I want him just to give me the option, for example, to hit continue. And he keeps on doing. But he should be able to hit continue himself and just keep working on it. Prompting same tasks 200 times is madness. If I had the pro plan for 200 USD, then I would have to give him right now the same prompt 200 times and hope he does it correct every time and works on it every time 30 minutes. That's a lot. And then for the second prompt, I will have to do the same. I would have to give also the second prompt 200 times. He works on the second prompt 30 minutes every time 200 times. That's very frustrating. We are at really the beginning of that technology. We are in the infant state. Future AI education. Let's talk again about the education. Kids will have perfect AI tutors. That's what I tried to explain. You will have perfect tutors with tailored lessons just for you. And you can study whatever you want. Personalized daily lessons forever. You never stop learning. You never stop increasing. You get personalized daily lessons forever on whatever subject you want. No sick teacher, no delays. You never have to wait. You can start the lesson whenever you feel like it, and you can stop it whenever you feel like it. Infinite questions equals full mastery. Since you can have infinite questions and you're talking to the smartest thing that exists on Earth, you will achieve full mastery of whatever you want much faster. A kid of 12 years or 8 years old could have achieved full mastery, a PhD level mastery of somebody who had to study before for 30 years or 40 years of his life. One day AI learning is more than 1 year in school. I'm sure that one day AI learning, if you ask the right question, you will learn much more that you learn in 1 year in school. And I'm talking about polytechnical schools very high math schools or universities. But one day, I think it's worth more than one entire year spent with those teachers. If you ask the right questions, no useless exams or stupid peers. You don't get any exams. They don't ask you questions that won't do you any good and help you for nothing, and you learn nothing out of them. And you don't have any stupid peers that make your life hard. We learn anything, anytime. You will be able to learn anything you want, anytime. And it will be very cheap. It will be something like $20 a month or even less than that in the future. AI will track weak spots and fix them. He knows what you understand. He knows what you're good at. And he knows also where your difficulties are. And he will fix your difficulties by giving you the right questions for that, by explaining you the right stuff for that, endlessly. As long as you don't understand it, just keep asking questions. He will explain it again and again and again until you finally get it. And when you get it, he understands what made you understand it. And next time he gives you the right question or the right explanation straight. It will be much better than the standardized test that just wastes your time. Future kids will be Newtons and Teslas. They will much faster be able to work not on just learning, but doing real science and teaching humanity new stuff that before was impossible. And kids will do that. Kids will be the equivalent of Newtons and Teslas once they are assisted by AI. I'd never enter a school again. At the place where I am right now, I would never willingly enter school again. And the only reason why I did it when I was a kid is there was no alternative. There was no internet. There was no YouTube where I could learn stuff. There was no AI I could talk to and explain, and who would explain stuff to me. The best schools I went to, and I really went to the best schools that they are. The most expensive and the most prestigious school on earth. They taught me nothing. Apart that you don't have to believe in authority, that you don't have to believe that they know anything precious, anything that you really want to learn. Apart that knowledge, that it's all a joke and a waste of time. Apart from that, they taught me nothing. Nothing. They didn't even taught me how to talk to you or to explain something properly. They taught me nothing. Zero. Nada. Nothing that is worthwhile my effort. Just a total waste of time. And once I was over that with them, I didn't get the degree and I ended up in the streets starving to death. That's all you get from them. And it's all BS. You don't want to learn this and you don't want to get the degree. That's why I couldn't get the degree. Because how am I supposed to learn stuff when I know that it's madness? That is only there to dull me down. That's only propaganda. That's a waste of time. Do you think they'll give a degree to me? Of course they won't. Not if I have some critical thinking and I do some analytic work. They will never give me a degree. It doesn't matter what I answer. They will find out that I don't believe in the crap. And they will eliminate me. Real education starts with AI. Before we had AI, there was no way you could get a real decent education. Only with AI will you get real education. Before that, it's just a waste of time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time with people who know nothing. They never made a math Olympiad. Why do you want to waste your time with them? If I want to talk about math with somebody, I want somebody who did win a math Olympiad. And he has infinite patience. I can talk to him until the end of time. And he will never stop answering my question. That's what I want. I don't want some crappy teacher who is very capable of doing an addition and a subtraction. I'm not interested in that. That's a waste of time. They all are very, very limited. None of them is a demigod. None of them made a math Olympiad. They're just waste of time. Even in the most prestigious schools on earth, they are a waste of time. They're the definition of a waste of time. On health and immortality. Kurzweil Nate tech prediction. Very good at telling you that you will have computers in your hand, smartphones. For that, he was very good. But he failed in biology and health. Now, he thought that the same thing that happens with technology will also happen with biology and health. And until now, that's not the case. Now, will biology and health get better? Up to a certain degree, yes. But you have to be very careful because the products they want to swallow all day long, they are toxic by definition. It's not something you find in nature. It's not a fruit on a tree, something healthy. All that toxicity will be very dangerous for you. And you do not become healthy by swallowing a pill. You want to go healthy? Use an exoskeleton like me. It's very hard for me to work. I feel the pain in my legs. That will make you healthy. Pain will make you healthy, not swallowing a pill. And that's why you don't want to do it. Because it's not the most pleasant thing. That working is 5 times harder than normal. That's not a very pleasant thing. And people don't want to do it. But that will make you healthy. Also, maybe one day they get that good that you will be immortal. But there will be a price to pay for that. You will not just be immortal and everything will be rosy. Humans shouldn't actually be immortal. It's not that I don't want to live longer. It's just, if everybody's immortal, then the worst people are around forever. Do you think that that's any good? And if there are no new generations, they will never change the way of thinking, because that's hard. That takes a lot of effort and a lot of work. Humans should not be immortal. And the idea of vaccines for future risk is, as I told you before, absurd. Because if you take vaccines because there's a risk in the future, 5%, 10%, 50% risk, the thing is, they will give you that as much as possible, as always, to make money. The big pharma will do that to make money. And you will end up with a lot of toxic products in your body that won't do you any good. And remember, every pill you swallow has side effects. And it is not awesome to take them all day long, especially when you're healthy. No harmless med exists yet. There's very few things that really aren't harmless. I don't think there exist any. Maybe they find you something. Maybe if you look with ChatGPT. Anyways, you cannot trust ChatGPT on that subject because he has too much biases integrated into it. He won't answer the question correctly. Toxic injection shortens life. I think the opposite will happen. They will tell you that you live longer, but I think that all that toxicity will make your life shorter. And I don't think you should medicate the health. You should only take medications in punctuality, in some cases, when it is necessary during a short period of time. And you should be healthy again after taking it for a couple of days or 1 or 2 weeks. Then afterwards, you should be healthy again. Everything that goes beyond that is very risky. And you should be very scary about it. Even that isn't great. Try to swallow the least amount of pills, and instead of that, do the most amount of physical effort, and you will be healthy. Now, I want to talk about one more thing. It's called Sephira app. I'll tell you again. Sefirah. And you can search for it. It's called Sephira. You will find it on tab. It syncs your phone to your PC. You can open any app on your PC. View, answer, and all messages. View all your notification on PC. And you can clip your sync, and your clipboard will sync from your PC to your phone. Every time you copy something on your PC, you can paste it on your phone, but only in that direction. Will not do in the other direction around. If you copy something on your phone, it will not appear on your PC. But in one direction, it works awesomely. The install is very hard. I only managed to do it with ChatGPT. I needed his assistance a couple of times, because not just do you have to learn how to download the thing from GitHub, sometimes easy, but this time it isn't that easy. And once you manage to download it and you install it, it still won't run. You get an error message. You have to download something else somewhere. And then once you have that file, you have to indicate where the file is. And only if you indicate where the file is, then it will work. But you don't get the file with the main download. It's somewhere else on the internet. And the only way to do that is with AI. Only with AI, with ChatGPT explaining him the issues and the error messages I get, did I finally manage to make it work. The app is not on the Play Store. You have to use GitHub. And there are bugs. It connects after minutes. That's one bug. Another one is fingerprint needs phone scan. When you open certain apps, well, then you need still the fingerprint on your phone, or you have to enter the code on your Windows PC. Some stuff related to finance and 2FA will not open on your PC, will not show up. You can only get a blank screen with them. Some overlays like A-input won't work. So A-input is a great app. I use it when I write basic stuff, basic answers to basic messages I get from friends. Sometimes I just write the basic stuff I want, but it's nice because then I press A-input icon and it gives me like 5 or 10 more variants. And it makes it a little more funny, a little more romantic, a little more Gen Z, and on. It changes a little the tone and the way it is. And usually you find something that is a little more pleasant and a little more interesting to read. Just that your messages are not boring if you talk about basic stuff. That's a great app, but that won't show up on your Windows PC. The only app that shows is the main app, but the add-ons app will not show on your PC. When you use access secure apps via PC, I talked about that. Bank-related apps and 2FA apps won't be accessible on your PC. Still very useful for daily work. I still really like the app. I use it a lot. People pick up the phone more than 1,000 times a day. I don't know exactly what numbers, but 3,000, 5,000 times a day. And you don't have to do that right now. You simply can use your PC to get access to all your apps, which is awesome. And great for heavy app users on PC. I have 600 apps on my phone and I need to consult them from time to time. Like for now, I need a very good weather app to tell me that for doing 2 hours, it won't be raining. I can make this vlog for you. And for that, it's great. Now, a mistake happened. And that's why I have to put all my charts back on my trading view since I'm a trader. And the mistake was that there's one icon. It's like a circle with arrows. And I did hit that circle with arrows because I thought it would only refresh the app. But instead of refreshing the app, it started a restart of my PC. This is why now I have to waste 3 days just putting all the indicators back on my trading view. I can use them again. It's a lot of work, but I do it from time to time. I do like 10 indicators, then I switch, do a little something else for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I do 10 more indicators. But I have so many indicators that it takes me like 3 days it will take me until I have them all back. So you have to be careful. Let's talk about scripts and automation. Since I have the app, and it stops working after a certain time if I leave it open, I have to open it, do the task I want, and then I have to close the app. And I have to open it again, which I don't mind, but I have to open it again every time I want to use it. If not, it will stop working. And the thing is, when you close it normally, it just goes into the system trail. But if that's the case, it won't be any good because then it's not closed. I had to create a script, a shortcut script to open it and to close it. And I have a Logitech macro pad. You can look, it's the last one. MX macro pad or whatever it's called. And it's the last one. I think they only have one. It's a very nice macro pad. It's expensive, but very nice. With that, I created a script. I created a script to open Zafira whenever I want. Just hit the button and it opens. And next to it, there's a second button. I hit the second button and it's another script. And that script will close the app. From system trail, it will totally close the app. And I have to close it and open it all the time. Because as I told you, the app stops responding and it will disconnect after a certain time. I really need to close it every time I use it. Every time I use it for 5 minutes, I have to close it. And I need a hotkey for launch and quit. And that's what I have with the script. And that's what I told you. Let's talk about some ideas and wishes. I want to use AI agents to translate books. That would be great if he could do that on his own, because I have to translate my book in German. And if I could tell him, for example, that's one thing I would like him to give my book written in French. So now translate it into English and publish it on Amazon for me. And it would be great if he does it. But I have to do all the work myself. He still can't do that, the AI agent. The agent could auto-publish a translation. So in the future, I could have maybe 5-10 agents at once. And they could work on different tasks simultaneously. And they would work until they have done it. And if it takes 3 months, then they work 3 months on the task without stopping. That would be great. And in the future, one day you will have that. But it might still take 50 years until you get it that high and that performance. But it will increase in the future. As I told you, it must scale to be useful. It must scale 1000x to be truly useful. I want 24/7 workers that never stop. And one day we will have that. But right now, that's not the case. No more context window full. And I want no more message with context window full. And we have to stop because we run out of time or tokens and so on. I don't want any of that crap. I want infinite task loop, no break. I want to work until it's over. I don't want it to stop after a certain period of time. I want agents with memory plus persistence. I want them to have as well memory as persistence. And I want them to be fast because right now they are slow. The great news is that I have gone through everything. It's now 10:30 at my place, and I think I started at 9:30. I've talked to you like 1 hour. That's correct. I've talked to you for 1 hour. I have to edit this video, and I have to keep on putting my indicators on my chart. I didn't sleep at all the entire night. I also will sleep this afternoon. That's a lot. Anyways, the future is bright, and it's awesome that we get those new technologies and that I can use the chart. Even if it's only 10 hours a month, that's still better than nothing. I'll take it. Thank you for the 10 hours a month. Really slow worker, but I'll take it. It's better than nothing. And please subscribe, like, and if you want to do me a donation for anything or pay me for 1 month that I can use the ChatGPT program and send me $200, then go ahead. Okay? For me, it's too expensive, so I cannot do it on a regular basis. But if I had the money, I would. And I would be able to create more stuff for you, produce more stuff for you, and provide you more assistance, teach you more with my educative videos. There are a lot of very great videos on my YouTube channel. I have now published 3K videos, and that's a lot. And the subjects are very variant, and I learn new stuff every day. That's why I talk to you, because I learn new stuff every day. And so can you. And my videos are short. So this one is long. It's 1 hour. But my educative stuff is very short. It's like 10, 15 minutes normally, the educative stuff. And you will learn a lot. And once something new, well, then you always can do some more research. It is really awesome. Take a look at my videos and don't forget to like and subscribe. And thank you for watching. I wish you the best as always. And I see you soon. I have something new to talk about. Bye-bye. Enjoy your day and your life. Take care.